You can do
all
whatever
right?
you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so hello, I'm Shewring. I'm one of the founders of Bizdojo. We are 3 years old this month.
Happy
Coming
birthday.
month, August. Thank you. It's been step this way. There goes one of our residents. How did it all start? Frustration at my own business. I started, like a lot of people do, their own little internet web company from home, and the only person I had to talk to was my dog and my cat, and they're surprisingly not very good people to talk to about running a business. Well, they're extremely supportive of whatever you tell them. They don't ever question your ideas. So I wasted a heap of money, sold my business for far less than what I could have sold it for, just because I didn't have anyone around me to bounce ideas off. And that was something that has stuck with me for probably about 7 years. And then I met Jonah Merchant, who's my co-founder of Bizdojo, and we were working on a project in New Zealand. So if you guys are flying in New Zealand long haul, they've got this whole new in-flight entertainment stuff, new seating, all the new cool features. Well, Jonah and I worked on the project team that delivered that stuff.
Ooh.
And so we worked on the R&D team at the start that was putting together all the future kind of prototype stuff in a little room, and in that room eventually evolved into building an entire interior of a plane within a hangar that we worked in, to kind of work out how these things would come together. And my job,
a set.
yeah, made a set. And so my job was, I was part of the team looking at mobile and airport interactive stuff, and Jonah was doing all the in-flight stuff. And the thing that really was amazing for us is at the time we were working with IDEO, and who are an amazing consultancy firm that kind of travel all around the world and help businesses reinvent themselves. And we're working with all these different contractors and specialists, from designers to architects to mobile app developers to just name it. There was this huge raft of different people doing really cool things, and it became really addictive. And then when the project finished and we all kind of went our own separate ways, it became quite depressing. And we kind of went, shit, if we could just start a space that would attract people like this, wouldn't it be an awesome place to work? And so that was kind of the start of the idea 3 years ago, and it's just grown organically from there. So we started off over in a space that you probably can't see because it's night, but we started in a little space that was enough room for about 16 people. We outgrew that in 3 months. We're the first tenants in this building, which was really scary. And it was the biggest lease that we'd ever signed, and we spent all this money on furniture, and we didn't have a single resident, and we kind of went, ah. And all of a sudden they all started turning up, and and we had some incredible people, designers and developers, and everyone who kind of has joined us has worked within the TEDS sector, so technology, entertainment, design, and sustainability is something we've added on that table. What do you guys want to know?
Do people find you then, and how do they go about getting a space here?
We've spent probably less than $1,000 on advertising in 3 years. It's purely come out of being relentless around trying to provide value to the residents. So every decision we make, we try and work out, is this going to help their business be more successful, and how does this help them grow? And the moment we start looking at decisions that don't adhere to that is when we kind of pull back from it, and we kind of keep focused. And it's been really hard, it's been really challenging, because it's all been organic, it's been word of mouth. But the advantage to that is that people are very passionate about being in the space, and we like to think of ourselves as being quite subtle and kind of behind the scenes. We're kind of the I don't know, the mechanism that keeps it all running, but it's really about the residents, and it's about their businesses shining. And so they've gone out and they've talked about us and talked about the space and talked about why it's worked for them, and so it's been really humbling when someone does that. So that's been how we've got the word out there.
So your business is essentially helping other businesses?
Yeah, it's kind of weird actually. We are a commercial company. We set up to be a commercial entity from the start, but a lot of what we do is for social good. So it's kind of we focus on supporting creatives when they come into our space. So a designer or an illustrator or a developer, and we kind of go, where are they going? What's wrong with their business? Who should they work with? Where do they want to go? Do they want to go and work in the UK? Do they want to go and work in the US? And then we look at how do we help that? and which is kind of weird to think, because you go, well, why would we do that when our job is to rent them a desk? But for us, we measure our success based on how their business grows and if they outgrow us. If they're outgrowing us because they've gone from 1 person to 10, then we're succeeding. If they wanted to get to 10 people and they always stayed at 1, then we need to do more work to make that happen. And so, it's a more organic, holistic way of working with people.
Yep.
And it makes it more fun, you know.
Yeah. And I guess maybe the businesses that you help that can't provide you with money kind of spread the word in return, and you kind of grow in other areas because of it.
Well, it's weird. So we do scholarships. We have a lot of international people who join us who, so we get guys, for instance, we had a chap who was out here one winter from Switzerland. He just wanted to get away from the cold. He was like, I'm going to go to New Zealand and work in New Zealand for summer. And he turned up, he sent a tweet when he got off the plane, where's the best co-working place to work? And someone sent him a message to say, come and see us. And he turned up here, which was really, really awesome. And he turned up and, we got talking to him and stuff. He was this really cool developer. And what was weird, and we said, hey, look, you can just work here for the rest of the month for free. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, man. And we invited him out on drinks and, just took him out and introduced him to a lot of people. And it was all cool. And he did some partnerships with a few of our residents, and that's still going. But what was really cool is he then went backpacking down through the South Island. He went to this backpackers in Queenstown, and there was this German girl working behind the bar there. And he said, oh, how you going? And she turned out to be an awesome illustrator. And she said, I'm totally over being in New Zealand. I'm going to go home because I can't get a job here.
Yeah.
And he said, well, why don't you get on a plane, go to Auckland and go to Bizdojo, and maybe you'll get work. She turned up and she became our office manager. Within probably about 3 weeks, she got poached from us to become the animator for a game development company where she's worked for the last 2 years, and she, that was from someone who just wanted to leave. So huge, amazing things can come out of just being generous. And we look at every time someone joins our space as an opportunity to connect to their friends and their clients and their country. And that's why we like to think of ourselves as not being Kiwi, being very global. And so everything has to be about that sort of reach. So
how do you divide the time between helping other businesses and helping your own?
It's impossible. It's very hard actually, to be honest. And so it's a tough question to answer. It's a struggle at times. Yeah, it's a real struggle. But I think the thing is that we're now getting to a scale where we're getting other people join us that want to do the same thing. And so our crew, our staff that work with us are wired the same way. So they want to help other people. And so we're getting more people kind of feeding into that, and it's sharing the burden. And our residents are becoming so used to the conversations, they do it themselves without us having to necessarily do it. So they sit down next to each other and go, so what are you working on? What do you need help with?
So there's a lot of collaborations that happen within the space.
Yeah, I might just grab a glass of water if you want.
Yeah.